Well, we begin with the fresh details coming out of the rescue mission in Georgia this morning. Officials there now say that there were in fact 81 people working on the building that collapsed on Monday and not 75 as previously stated. That means that 44 people remain unaccounted for, while 8 have been confirmed dead.
Yeah, the five-storey building on Victoria Street collapsed within seconds, reducing the structure to rubble. More than 200 people comprising emergency crews and other experts are involved in the painstaking rescue operation.
The Garden Route District Joint Operational Centre, established for the Victoria Street building site collapse, has updated the figure for those present on site at the time of the incident on Monday, the 6th of May. This follows intensive discussions and scrutinisation of the safety records with the responsible contractors. The contractor has now confirmed that the number of workers on site at the time of collapse was 81. The total number on site at the time of incident, 81. Patients retrieved, 37. Patients deceased, 8. Patients critical, 16. Patients life-threatening injuries, 6. Patients minor injuries, 7. And this leaves us with 44 persons unaccounted for.
Well, let's bring in Newzroom Afrika's Sipha Kema, who's tracking the story from us. She's been doing so from the very beginning. And in fact, on Monday, Sipha, when we started, there was an understanding that there were 75 people on the construction site when the building went down. That number now revised to 81. How did this revision take place? Where did this clarity come from?
Now, Naledi, from what we hear, or from rather the statement that was released by George Local Municipality, it is said that the contractor is the one that has confirmed the numbers now. It's 81 instead of the 75. But now, I mean, Naledi, you know, this is important because these were questions that were actually posed to the team that was leading the briefing on Monday, asking whether or not the teams, the rescue team, the provincial team, the municipality teams as well, how sure were they of the numbers? And we received confirmation that they were sure of the numbers that they had received from the contractors, as there was a register in place that was signed by the workers when they would get onto the site. But now it seems as though the numbers have changed from that 75 that they had initially given to 81. Now, of course, we're still going to ask questions on how they came about the 81, the remaining 80, well, the 81 instead of the 75. You know, what had happened previously? Where did they get the extra names? Were there relatives that came forward to say that some of their loved ones were working on the site? So those are the questions we will be asking. Unfortunately, at this moment, we cannot ask those questions. We can see right now they are busy with a briefing. We can see head of disaster from the Western Cape, Colin Diner, there briefing some of the rescue team and the workers on the ground that are about to start the new shift now. So, but I think also, Naledi, another factor that we need to also bring in that is very important here is the fact that we're going to see Minister Thulas Nxesi, Minister of Labour, coming in at 12 p.m. Today to brief us here in George, because there are several matters that need answers, because this is also, right, a labour issue, because these were workers working on construction sites. And then also, you know, the questions that are going to be posed regarding working permits, as some of the workers are foreign nationals. So those are the questions that the media would pose to the Department of Labour, and because they have been also on the scene. We know that the acting DG was here on Monday as well. So we want to find out their investigation, what have they found out, and the information that they have regarding some of the workers that were here on site, and also the fact that they missed such a large number there as well, Naledi, for days, and only 4 days later then changed the numbers from that 75 to 81 workers on site.
And so that's obviously going to be a big talking point, right? The issue around the employment of foreign nationals. And we spoke to a father yesterday who, was, in quite a state, waiting for some answers about his 18-year-old son who he believed was stuck in the rubble in that very collapse. And what he was able to admit to us yesterday in that conversation was that his son did not have the necessary documentation to be working in the country. So that's going to be a big talking point. Still so many questions, however, Sipha, around the contractor, what we know about them, the work that they've done even in the recovery process and even in the process of trying to get to an investigation and get answers about what went wrong.
Well, that is true, Naledi. I mean, just yesterday, we have been trying to reach out to the contractor, but also we're trying to identify them from the site. But I mean, that's almost near impossible because everyone is wearing a reflector. Most of them don't have any names on. Hard hats are supplied by some of the local companies or, those Good Samaritans that have been actually providing the safety equipment and safety workwear and tools as well. But we did manage eventually yesterday to reach one of those executives from the company, but they told us that they actually have been told to not speak to the media anymore. But he did forward me a statement yesterday that we mentioned. But I think the key points to highlight from that statement was, of course, they sending their condolences and also stating that this is a tragedy and that they will ensure a thorough investigation will be taken into what exactly happened here and also, what caused the collapse of this building. And I think, Naledi, we've reached that point where it's 4 days later, those conversations need to start happening, the cause of the collapse. So we tried to pose that question yesterday during the briefing, the 3 p.m. briefing with the MEC of Local Governance. I asked him whether, they were anywhere close to knowing what happened here, the engineers that they're bringing in and the consultants that they're also bringing on board to do an independent investigation. What do they know? But I was told that, we need to just let the investigators do their job. But I also note that there were crime scene investigators from SAPS here yesterday, all through most part of the day, conducting their investigations as well, seeing them, walking around the site as well, Naledi. So, but those are key questions that we need to continue asking, which we will be asking on several occasions, and of course to watch out for that briefing by the Minister of Labour and Employment, Tula Smesi, taking place at 12 p.m. today here in George.